Hey, it's Flango, and today should be my last commons only deck. And we're gonna do bugs. Well, swamp. So, we're gonna use this guy, 3 Swamp Terrors, because they're awesome cards. This is gonna be a bit of an aggro deck, so we're just gonna go to them and then terror them. Then we'll use Giant Scorpion as our king. And then we will use 3 Parasitic Wasps. And then we will use Mana Storm. And Cloning Seeds, because Cloning Seeds, if you look at Infestation, oh, whatever. Infestation, okay, creates a copy of an insect, and that copy can't move. And then you look at Cloning Seeds, creates a copy of a card, and it can move. Oh, but you have to pay its cost. So that's a little bit different, I guess. Let's choose Infestation then. Oh, we're not going to do Infestation, we're going to do Cloning Seeds. And the reason is because there's this guy. Actually, let's just type Swamp, because I need a couple swamps in here, and I need a couple vile bogs in here. And then there's this guy. He's a plant dragon, but he moves differently. He's the same cost as Giant Scorpion, but he moves differently. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna run 1 Frost Wyvern, or Forest Wyvern, and 1 Giant Scorpion, other than the king. And then we can use Cloning Seeds to play whichever one we want later. So this deck is pretty solid. The only mana we get is from Parasitic Wasp with Mana Storm though, and it would be nice to have more mana. The problem is that Giant Scorpion is not as good of an aggro-y card, so maybe instead of mana overall, I'll just run Cocoon, and then I'll turn this to Infestation. So now we have no mana in the deck, but we can cheat out these cards. The only other problem now is that actually cheating them out is a little bit inconsistent. So, we could run less other cards, but I think this is really fine. Let's give it a try. This deck is really, really versatile. You can do it in so many different ways. The way I showed you might almost work. Might need a tiny change. Oh, you can't use Cocoon with Forest Wyvern. So, let me go back into my edit. What should I call this thing? I have so many commons only decks. Yeah, it's this one. So if you're going to run Cocoon, you don't run any Forest Wyverns. Sort this by cost. And instead, you run more Giant Scorpions. Cool. So this deck is just going to spam Scorpions with Cocoon and then infest them. And hopefully that will work. But, you know, if it doesn't, we'll swap it up. Let's see if anyone's online. Oh, there is one. Okay. It's a Star Eater deck. It's probably going to be Scale Call Star Eater because that's what's going around right now, so it makes a lot of free dragons. That sort of just sucks for me. Oh, it's his turn. We'll see how this goes. Wish you could click the cards to see the card art in a higher resolution, because it's nice art. I hope he knows it's his turn. might get a free turn 1. So against the Star Eater, we can hit it with Parasitic Wasp once, but then it's going to force. We can hit it with Giant Scorpion once, but then it's going to force. So yeah, that sort of sucks. Actually, Giant Scorpion only has 40 health, and it does 23. Star Eater is a pretty weird king. It's pretty fun though. Alright, in this situation, I think I want to just play Parasitic Wasp anyways. I'll put it over there. The only problem with playing a deck like this is that I actually have no way to use this 15 mana because everything costs 20. You should, when you're making a deck, sort of think about how to use that mana. So, I don't know if you saw my manaless aggro deck, but it actually only runs, it runs all manaless cards except for 1 or 2. I think I ran 2 cards that costed 15, or I think they actually each costed 7. Well, we got a lot of AFKs. Just looking for free coins, maybe? This actually, if you're gonna farm free coins in online, this will be the deck to do it with. Because your opponent will play a deck that, has to hit this thing. But since this thing is rooted, it will take time to get over there. And then secondly, it will take a lot of hits because this thing has 74 HP. And you get 1 coin or 2 coins, I think, for every move that is made in a game. Up until like 50 coins. So anyways, we're going to play the Cocoon because that's how we cheat out our bugs. We'll swing. Next turn we'll have a bug. He can move up, I can attack, and obviously I'll use the Swamp Terror first for 8 more damage. As well as, 5 more plus 5 more. Yeah, 15 damage card. Or not 15, 18. That's pretty good. I mean, this card is 15 damage. This card is 18. That's pretty good. It's unfortunate that we have to wait through this. But, maybe the next game will be better. Yeah. Alright, I'm going to impart some knowledge on you. I don't know what to impart. Alright, this deck plays for what is called tempo. So Cocoon, it gives you an insect, right? So if you get Cocoon turn 1, which you're supposed to, or turn 2 even, then you play it. And then you haven't played a Giant Scorpion yet, so it becomes a Giant Scorpion. And now you have 20 mana for free, and that is a lot of value. That's all I really have to say about that. Tempo, lots of it. Now Infestation is another tempo card, because now that you have this 20 mana card, you cheat out another mana card. And so what's happening is you're getting these cards that cost mana before you should, like before the game would normally let you, right? And then that means that you can trade efficiently, because nothing has 14 health. That's free. Very, very few things. And the things that do usually don't have 20 health. And anything with less than 20 can die on a bog or a swamp, which is sort of why we run swamp. And Swamp Terror. Now, Swamp Terror is another good tempo card because it does 2 things in a turn. It puts them on terrain that is good for you, and it does 8 damage. So what you see is like this card is cheating out a minor version of a better effect. This card is cheating out a minor version of a better effect. And then all of a sudden, you're getting a really, really good situation in the early game. Now, when it goes to late game, your opponent will outvalue you. If he started to play dragons and stuff, if he played like mana cards and then later on it became dragons, then that would suck because dragons can kill me and I can't kill them. Parasitic Wasp is another good tempo card because, well, the Parasitic Wasp is good for a lot of reasons. First of all, it has good tempo. You can play it and swing, and all of a sudden you're getting 2/7/9s, which actually, it does 7 attack, except for it does even more if they're on Swamp, right? It does 12. And 12 damage per turn is awesome. So, yeah. All I'm saying is that this deck plays for super quick tempo, get an advantage in the early game, and then win later. See, if you had a bot that would just click in the center where the dashboard button is, then he would get back to the screen, and it could just keep clicking here. Like, he could literally just leave his computer there, clicking. Don't do that. But yeah. Okay, we got one. I got it. It's a deep space warrior. So deep space warrior is a very, very aggressive card. It has very low health, but it can come at you and just hit you and then hit you and then hit you. So I'm gonna play Cocoon because I want to, you know, have more bugs. I'm gonna play it here. No, I'm gonna play it here. The reason I'm gonna do that is because Cocoon has 13 health, and he could play something that does 15 to everyone. So although I want more spiders and scorpions, I don't want them badly enough to risk sacrificing them. Yeah, so here comes the Voidbringer. This means that he could play a really slippery playstyle, or he could play not slippery. I'm gonna leave it here, and I'll Cocoon next turn. Already we've got some tempo, and he's losing some health, hopefully. I can just play Infestation, but I'd rather do the Cocoon before I draw my next 2 Scorpions. Okay, the Mana Storm means that he might come over here. That would be a fine play for him, actually, because I can't hit him, but he can hit me. He might be scared of going next to my king because I can hit him, but really all I have is the Swamp Terror. Oh yeah, I forgot that Voidbringer can bring all the crystals to it. Well played on his part. I actually can take advantage of his crystals by spawning wasps, but I don't really have anything to do with the mana, so I'll just play Cocoon. I can move up. If he hits me, how much would he hit me for? Like, he only has 15 attacks, so I'm gonna move up. So this is exactly like a textbook case of how tempo works in this game. I have cards that are big, and they threaten to do stuff, so I'm the one who's doing the killing. I'm gonna have 3 giant scorpions on turn, what, like 4? Well, turn 1, turn 2, turn 3. So, okay, it's gonna be turn 4, yeah. Sorry, I'm tired. So yeah, turn 4. I've got all this tempo. But his sort of stake in the thing is that he has this Voidbringer. And with that Voidbringer, he can do cool things like move all the mana. And he has this mana. And with that mana, he can do cool things. Okay, so he killed my my creature with his Astral Network. Very good play on his part. I'm going to look to... I can't kill him right now. I mean, I could hurt him. So, okay, I have a couple options. I think 100% of the time I'm going to hit this. And then threaten to kill the Voidbringer. even though it can jump around. But yeah, so I think what's going to happen here is that I'm going to have to either hit the deep space with this thing and threaten to go for the kill. But the problem is that he moves too quick. Or I can do some hitting on the mana gems with my Parasitic Wasp to try to get more wasps. I think I'm going to do that. That'll give me the mana to play one of these scorpions from hand, and then when I can do that, then I can just hit him. I'm going to put this card here, but there's a very high chance that he comes up here and plays the Astral Network again. So I'd like to move this card. I don't really have an idea of where I want to move it, though. Maybe just here. He can come up here and do the Astral Network, but then I would hit him. Apparently my computer thought I said Cortana, and now it's... Alright, so he's gonna come hit me. I somewhat expected that to happen, but I have a lot of damage. Okay, so let's make him back off, which is, of course... I could move in here. I would take 10 plus something. I don't think any 20 mana card can kill me, so I'm actually going to do it. It threatens to kill him. I'm going to go here because it still threatens to kill him. And then I'm going to go here to attack the Voidbringer and centralize myself. And then I'll just come here. Now in terms of cards to play next, I have a lot of options. I'd love to play Giant Scorpion and just hit him and kill him. So I have pretty good chase. Does he regen? Yeah, on turn change. That's unfortunate, to be honest. So I can't just kill him with one Giant Scorpion. If he makes the mistake of going to a swamp, I can handle him with my... Okay, he's gonna come back here. This means that I can hit him with a Giant Scorpion on a swamp. It won't kill him, but it'll be pretty good. And then I just need to cover the areas that he can go to. And as long as I'm here, that's not very many. Okay, are you gonna move? There we go. Okay, I can leave him at 1 health, or I can wait and just, like, kill him. Like, I can save that and hit him now. With, I don't know, something like this card. So he doesn't realize how much danger he's really in. Yeah, I'm gonna do this way though. So now he sort of thinks like, oh, he can't do anything. I'm sure he knows I can play Giant Scorpion, but still. So his shoot will do quite a bit of damage, 13 to be exact. So I'll be left at 13. So actually, if he can play another Stardust Rune, I'm dead, but he doesn't have the mana, so that's good. This thing will get hurt. I mean, it won't die yet, but that's okay. And then if he walks onto a swamp, then I have Vileplume. Right? 15? Yeah. So this is pretty good. We have the ability to kill with Vileplume, and with Giant Scorpion, even if we'll only be at 13 health. If he goes here, he's somewhat safe. As long, like if he goes here and shoots here, and then plays a card, whatever. It's hard for me to get a kill on him. I think at that point I would just try to spam Parasitic Wasps. And I would bring this card in to try to push him out. So now, this is what happens sort of late game when you have tempo. He starts to play these cards that are really good at playing against aggro. So he's gonna kill my Parasitic Wasp, he's gonna, push off, like block from my Giant Scorpion very fast, and then he's on I'm on a timer really. I have a certain amount of time in which I need to win the game before my resources stop being useful. So right now, these resources that I have, that sort of sucks for me. I don't know if I can get him, because he's on a crystal now. But yeah, so this is exactly it. Now I'm on a clock, right? I have to kill him before the Nebulous activates anything, before the Stardust Regent starts to kill me. I have to get going. I'm going to move my king up. I could hit him, but I don't think there's any point. Now, what there is a point in doing is this thing can't jump very far anymore. So what I can do is, I know that he's in this area, I can swamp. And it won't, like, Vilebog won't kill him next turn, which sucks. But Scorpion will. So there's a chance, albeit a small one, that he doesn't find a way to, well, he's going to come over here 100%. How can I cover that? I can't. I just have to hope that he doesn't. Also worth noting that I actually just lose the game because now he does too much damage to me. Oh well, I don't think, I think my timer was too long. I can block here, but Nebulous is just gonna blow up and then he regents me. Yep. He knows. He can jump over here and hit me. Well, GG. But that was very close. So that's sort of how that deck works. Let's go. Cool. So we're gonna play for tempo. Well, he actually is gonna play for tempo. We're pretty low. One hit and we're dead, sort of thing. And Cocoon doesn't do anything because we drew our Giant Scorpions. So we can put him down to 10. What I'm saying here is I'm saying you can't do 10 damage to me. And it looks like you can't. So that's good. This is the worst hand ever. Cool, so he's gonna heal up, which puts me on a clock. Just like how tempo is meant to be played, on a clock. This card does actually play me a Swamp Terror. So I think I'm gonna do it. Next turn I'm gonna use a Parasitic Wasp to hit the Soul Collector. I mean, it doesn't kill, but at this point I'm in value mode. So I need to get as much value as I can before the Deep Space Warrior, heals fully. Because I'm not going to chase. It's just not going to happen. I forgot that I could actually Infestation my own Giant Scorpion. So I should have done that instead of playing Cocoon. He's thinking, he's thinking. Oh my. Alright, well. If this is going to be how he plays, I'm going to go for the Voidbringer. I could spawn the Wasp now, but what's the point? I'm just going to play Infestation on this. This is a weird spot because I've already lost all my tempo. This is why when you build an aggro deck, by the way, you should really, really, really use something with a better movement. Horizontal, vertical 2 just isn't a very good movement. But if you look at all the straight line cards, they're all red. They all have this caveat of having high value. Only for the movement, though. Anyways, he made a bit of a mistake. Yeah, I can. Looks pretty funny, not gonna lie. Well, good game. Alright, I'll do one more. And then I'm done. Cool, we're going first. That means we get the tempo. I don't want to get hit by him, but could be worse, so I'm gonna do it. Sucks that we got two scorpions. We're gonna need to figure something out. But he might be a little scared now. If he comes and hits me, I'm gonna probably just play Swamp Terror and hit him. And then hit him again, to be honest. He's gonna do it. Alright, there's a very real chance he can just do 10 damage and kill me, but I suppose I don't have to hit him. I could back off and like replace, and that way he can't kill my thing. That was a really, really bad move because now he actually can still hit me. The only good thing about this is that he can hit me, but he has to play like a card here or here to hit me. My vocabulary here is very weak. Alright, so he's on a Healy spot. I'm just gonna damage him. Again, you're seeing tempo in action. I have more cards that do damage, but he can run. So, the whole match right now is about, can he outrun me? Or can I convert my tempo into something better? Which is very possible. Like, if he doesn't move his Voidbringer, I just swing, swing, swing. Yeah, so he moves everything. He's gonna have Astral Fissure next turn. I might as well go swing anyways. Put this card here. He can just jump and use Astral Fissure, so I'm worried about these cards. And my king, kind of. I think I'm gonna do this. Just sort of spawn as many wasps as I can. Hopefully in a turn or two I have enough things to be able to swamp or to Vile Bog. This is still high tempo for me. Like, he's trapped in here. Well, he's not really trapped, he has this thing. But it's still high tempo for me in that I control a lot of the board still. And I have many value cards right now. And here again, he's in my territory type thing. So I actually have enough mana to hit him for 19 damage. And I might as well do it now. Can also hit that for 19 damage. Plus, is that 15? Or no, 12. 19 plus 12? Yeah, that's still 30. We're good. So this is a case where my tempo is really, really, really winning me the game. Oh, this does a lot of damage there. Okay. Well, I might as well kill it. I need to do this properly. 8 plus 12 is only 20. I want to kill the well, I kind of want to kill it with the Parasitic Wasp, but it might be smart just to kill it with the Scorp. I need to plan out my damage on these cards too. I'm gonna do it this way. I'd like to just play the Scorpion here and hit him. Okay, there we go. Now he's at risk of dying to a Vile Bog or a Swamp Terror. Well, not a Swamp Terror because he's gonna heal. Or a Giant Scorpion if I can somehow do that. Now the question is, where do I put my Wasp? I can put it here, but he's not gonna stand there. I can put it here. It threatens to kill the Voidbringer, but the Voidbringer's gonna move too. Whatever, yeah, this is how we play it. It's too bad I don't have the Vile Bog. So his warrior has to not go on a swamp, which is probably what's... Oh well, this thing does 23, doesn't it? GG. Big Star Eater kills me. I'm not even mad. Alright, so hope you learned something about playing against, playing tempo. I hope you learned a little bit about what tempo is, a little bit about how enemies can stabilize, although in this case the way he stabilized was these big explodey things, which is pretty common to be honest. The other ways he can do it is through mana, which is also what he did, and through big but free creatures that are just good value. Like my creatures, they're good for big attacks, like this card. I mean, it has 15 health, does 8 damage, and it puts things on the right square, or like on the right type of tile. So that's really good value. But he could have cards that are like Griffin. Griffin is like 20 health, so I can't kill him in one turn. And then all of a sudden now he's got this shield up in front of him. And Deep Space Warrior heals itself, so that's good value as well. Because, you know, every turn I'm not killing him is a turn he's actually getting stronger. So usually the way that you beat these tempo decks is by playing a slower playstyle that has ways to keep itself alive. So for him that was through this, and that was through explosions, like his Nebulous and his Star Eater, and through running away with this. Yeah. So now you've learned a little bit about tempo, you've seen a fun deck. If you upgrade this card to a Bog Lurker, or whatever it's called. Actually here, I'm actually going to show you right now. I'm going to try to get... Okay, cool. That's perfect. Back. Okay. So here's what I actually took to a tournament. I came fourth, I think. There were a lot of players. It was like I did well. The only two people I lost to were Sturm, who won the tournament, and I think I lost to Ball of Dark, who came third. Okay, so here's Pharaoh's Blessing. Harvest Blade, Vile Bog, like it's this deck, the same sort of aggro deck. You play Swamp Terrors. That's your early game card. You play Bog Dweller as your king because he moves farther. He has straight line 2, but he actually has straight line 4 if you're on a swamp. And he regens, and he does a whole lot of attack. And so then you can play Forest Wyvern, and you can play you can play Scorpion, and you can play Scorpion's friend, Great Oak Spider. They're like the same card, except for Great Oak Spider has more health and less attack. Now you play those 3 cards, and what you do is you go on top of them. You play Swamp Terror. You hit them, you hit them, you hit them. You can use Parasitic Wasp for that. And then you finish them off later with Chimera or with Vile Bog. Now the reason I run one of each of the little guys, which are like the 20... Here, let me sort this by cost. The reason why I only run one of each of these 3 is simply because you can play them again with Cloning Seeds. So I don't need to like play multiple. Now I'm not using Cocoon to cheat them out this time because I want to be able to play Forest Wyvern. And then Chimera is this big finisher. Vilebog is this big finisher. Harvest Blade lets me buff more damage. Or not Harvest Blade, sorry. I only owned one Wraith Blade at the time, but Wraith Blade lets me buff by 6 damage. So I could like kill, or I could do 21 damage with my Bog Dweller. So that's pretty good. Or 22 actually. And then Pharaoh's Blessing, it shouldn't be in that deck. So anyways, I've actually updated that deck just for you guys. And I would definitely say that this is a deck you could bring to the tournament, or to a tournament, and do well with. Same idea, one Chimera, one like Bog Dweller is the king, one of each of these. This time I'm running 2 Cloning Seeds and 3 Wraith Blades, so I'm not using Harvest Blade anymore. And I added more Wraith Blades because Bog Dweller has a really good ability to duel and get you lots of mana with Wraith Blade. Now I'm running 2 Parasitic Wasps. I took out the Hive because Hive was in there. Basically, when you're in a meta that doesn't exist, you want to play 2 things. You want to play greedy, which means like things that are high value that the opponent, if they're prepared for, well, like these cards will suck if the opponent is prepared for them. But the other thing you want to do is you want to run variety. You want to have options because you don't know what your opponent's going to run. So you can't commit straight up to aggro and you can't commit straight up to control. You need to have sort of this card salad, which is why I actually called the deck Tournament Salad. So that's sort of why I ran Hive and Pharaoh's Blessing earlier. But now we don't need Hive. Hive it did win me a game, but now we know how to it's more settled. You know that you can just win with Parasitic Wasps. That will do the same thing as Hive, except for it will take advantage of anyone running Mana Storm. Now I'm running 1 Soul Collector because although the Wraith Blades are usually enough, it's awesome to be able to play Soul Collector when you have a lot of Wasps. And then, yeah, same thing, Terrors, they're really good. Swamps, I'm only running 2 this time because Terror usually does the job. And then I'm running 2 Vilebogs instead because having those things is awesome. It's a good finisher, and it's good for cleaning up a whole bunch of opponent cards that are in the way. So yeah, that's the deck. Feel free to copy it, play with it. There's definitely some optimizations you could make. There's another version where you just center on your Bog Dweller. I can't. And then you play stuff like Barrier. And then you play stuff like Wraithblade. And stuff that really helps you do more damage. And then you play Monarch. And then Great Monarch will heal you back up by 10. So yeah, you can duel a little bit better. But overall, this is also a playable version of the deck. It's more aggro, but that's okay. It has excellent ability to chase because if you need a side jump, you play a side jump. If you need a horizontal vertical 2, you play a horizontal vertical 2. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. This might be my last commons only video. Bye.